Hi everyone, this is your host Hiteshi from Guide IAS. A very warm welcome to this beautiful and wonderful morning. We hope you all are doing great, preparing well. So, my dear friends, today we'll begin with a saying from Robert Byrne. The purpose of life is the life of purpose. This saying is put in action by one of the members of our Guide IAS family, that is Vivek Pathak, who has cleared UPSC in his fifth attempt. He believes in having a purpose in life and has finally achieved it. So he is an inspiration to us and to all others. So without further delay, let us connect with him.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, sirs. Very good morning. Welcome to Guide IAS.
Thank you so much.
So, we are pleased to see you accomplishing great things. So, congratulations on your hard earned success, sir.
Thank you.
So, before we begin, let me acquaint the audience with your journey so far.
I think there's a network issue. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, guys,
Yes,
Mr.
sure.
Pathak hails from Kathua, Jammu and Kashmir. He has cleared UPSC examination in his fifth attempt with 48th rank in the reserve list of 2019. He has done his master's in sociology and MPhil in Russian and Central Asian studies from JNU. Currently, he is writing thesis in his third year of PhD. So, yeah, you are a scholar, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, now let's begin with the questions. The first one, when did you actually think of going for UPSC and what was the motivation behind that?
So the first time I thought about pushing myself into UPSC was the last year of my graduation.
Okay.
I thought of becoming a civil servant from the school time, but the time I actually started preparing for it was in the last year of my graduation. It was 2013. And the motivation for the UPSC came from certain civil servants who were working in my area. I watched some of them how they were doing some really impressive work, and from there I got the motivation.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Next one. Sir, as we know, the pattern of prelims is changing. So, how to conquer that change?
Okay, so first of all, I believe that prelims is the most trickiest part when it comes to UPSC preparation. And
Yeah.
in the recent years, the UPSC prelims has become really unpredictable. So you need to devise a very comprehensive and holistic strategy for prelims. So what I will suggest to everyone is that expand a little bit of your resources. Earlier we used to stick to standard books and just revise them and go
Mm.
for prelims. I would suggest everyone to please expand your horizon and your boundaries a little bit more. You do not need to read everything, but at least uh, try to read a little bit more. For example, this time I read quiz booklets. There is a coaching platform called IS Baba.
Yeah.
They have quiz booklets which come out every month, and they have really good current affairs material on that. So I used to read quiz booklets of every month, and I did it for around 12 months. And this time I Google searched a lot also. For example, you are reading on a particular topic related to geography, you need to ensure that you do a little bit of Google search related to every topic, because not everything is in the NCRTs and not everything is in the coaching material. So please do a little bit of Google search, just a 3-4 minutes Google search on every topic. And if you find something new, please note it down on your notebook.
Thank you, sir. The next one, the frequently asked question as to should one go for NCRTs? And if yes, then how to cover them efficiently in such a short span of time, that is 5 months?
So I would say that no one can ignore NCRTs because NCRTs are the foundation of this preparation. Anyone who is starting this preparation, who is a beginner, he or she must ensure to read NCRTs. They cannot ignore NCRTs at any cost because it is the foundation, and everything which you will read in UPSC preparation throughout the year will have direct links to the NCRT syllabus and the NCRT material. And as far as how to cover NCRTs in 5 months efficiently, I would say that firstly, please divide your NCRT materials into order of precedence. For example, I considered history and geography NCRTs as the most important ones. So first I used to cover NCRTs or geography from 6th to 12th class. Then after that, history NCRTs from 6th to 12th class. And then I further went on to other NCRTs. I would say to everyone that geography and history NCRTs are the most important ones. And the other NCRTs like economics, like political science NCRTs, please read them after completing history and history and geography NCRTs. And you do not need to make notes of everything which is in the NCRTs. You can just highlight them, but you must ensure that you do revisions at least 5 to 6 times of every NCRTs that you have read.
Okay. Sir, in addition to the answer you gave, we have got a query that regarding history, which particular book we should read, like old NCRT or the new one or the one of Tamil Nadu board?
So honestly, it doesn't matter if you are reading old NCRTs or new NCRTs, but as far as I was concerned, I read old NCRTs. I read old
Okay.
NCRTs of ancient and medieval India. And as far as the modern history is concerned, I refer to the Spectrum book.
Okay.
And
Thank you, sir.
okay.
No, you may continue, please.
And you also ask about the Tamil Nadu board book. I referred to
Yeah.
it during my mains. For prelims, I did not read Tamil Nadu textbook. I only refer to the
Okay.
basic NCRT books of ancient and medieval India and Spectrum book for modern India.
Okay, sir. So the next one, sir, as prelims is becoming tricky and tough day by day, so there are many questions coming from science and tech and environment as well. So how to cover them effectively? Also, how to study things like wildlife sanctuaries, parks, species, etc., so that we can recall them.
Okay. So yes, a lot of questions are coming from science and technology and environmental part. So I would say that there is no single book from which you can read everything related to science and technology and environment. You need to just broaden your resources. For example, when I talk about science and technology part, first thing, first thing which I did was to read NCRTs related to 9th and 10th class for science and tech. After that, what I did was I read compilations of science and tech. You can take any compilations. I refer to Insights compilation on science and technology, which comes around 2 months prior to the prelims.
Yeah.
And after that, whenever you are reading daily current affairs, a lot of things are from science and technology. Please make sure that you make proper notes of them. Do not leave anything because anything can come in the prelims. And for the environment part, I refer to Shankar IAS booklet and the compilations of environmental part by Insights IAS. And as far as the wildlife and natural science sanctuaries part is concerned, I did a lot of Google search and I maintained a separate copy for environmental part because no one can predict from where they will ask the sanctuaries or the wildlife parks. So you just need to ensure that whenever you begin your preparation right from the first day, you know you should take notes every day of what you are learning.
Okay. Guys, I hope you are jotting it down side by side. So the next one, sir, please share with us the standard book list one should go for in this 5 months.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to tell everyone that please do not read multiple resources for the same topic because it will not help you much in the prelims. Ensure that you read one standard booklet, one reference booklet for a book for everything, for every topic, and you revise it multiple times and do not run after multiple resources. As far as my book list was concerned, for polity, I used only Lakshmikant for prelims. And for economy, I referred to NCRTs of 11th and 12th class and Ramesh Singh book, economy book by Ramesh Singh. And in addition to that, I referred to economic survey, the budget, and the last one was the Google search. Google search will always help you with everything. Whenever you are reading something, please Google search. So when it comes to economy part, Ramesh Singh book, NCRTs, economic survey, budget, and the internet search related to different theoretical parts. Next, after polity and economy, when it came to history, I read basic NCRTs from 6th to 12th. All NCRTs from 6th to 12th. And for modern history, I read Spectrum. For art and culture, I refer to, I basically stick with the chapters which are in the textbooks, NCRT textbook, the cultural part of the textbook. I also read Nitin Sanghania a bit, but I did not find it much useful because there are a lot of things and you never know from where they will ask the questions in the prelims. Then after that, when it comes to geography part, which is the most important, I referred to 6th to 12th class NCRTs. And the most important material which helped me in geography was the PMF IAS material. The geography NCRTs will give you a basic foundation, no doubt. But as I have told before, that you need to expand your horizons a little bit. So please go for PMF IAS material because it is very useful while understanding the complex topics of geography. After that, for environment, I referred to just two resources. One is the Shankar booklet, and second one is the current affairs for the whole year. And at the end of the year, I read the compilation for environment. Uske baad, if we talk about exactly about the time, right, 1 month or 2 months before prelims, I read all the compilations of environment, science and technology, and there is a special booklet in which all the government schemes are compiled. So you can go for any one booklet, either of the Vision IAS material or the Insights, anyone which you like, but please revise it thoroughly and read almost all the compilations which are related to science and tech, environment, and these government schemes.
Okay, thank you, sir, for the answer. And the next one, sir, in reference to the Nitin Singhania, we have got a query that many aspirants find it very lengthy. So what should be the alternative for that?
If someone is worrying about art and culture, I would advise them, please do not worry much about it because see, I would say to everyone that whenever you are going for any material, please analyze the ROI, return on investment. For example, if we talk about Nitin Singhania book, it is a very big book. And even if you complete it and revise it multiple times, on the day of prelims, you will realize that they have not asked even a single question from the book. Then what is the purpose of investing so much time on just one book when you are not even sure that they will ask a single question from that book? So I would tell everyone to please refer to the basic cultural part which is in the textbooks itself. When you read ancient India NCRT, when you read medieval India NCRT, there is a lot of content which is directly related to art and culture. And most of the questions I analyzed, which came in the prelims in the past years, they were directly from the NCRTs of ancient and medieval India. So if anyone is looking for an alternative, please stick to the basic books of NCRTs and the things which are coming in the current affairs, please revise them. Do not run after Nitin Singhania because the return on investment is very low.
Okay, sir. So the next one, so as we know that you failed to pass prelims in your 4 attempts. So what were the major changes that you made in your strategy for the fifth attempt? And please mention about mains also in brief.
Okay. So, as I have told you that I was not able to clear 4 prelims,
Yeah.
and this is the first time that I have cleared prelims and I've cleared in the means and the interview. So, what I did different was this time was I did 2 3 things which were different from the previous years. First were the mock tests. I did a lot of mock tests this time, and I ensured that I revised them at least 4 to 5 times. Second thing which I incorporated in this attempt was what I told you about the quiz booklets, IAS Baba quiz booklets. And there were around 2 questions in the prelims, 2 to 3 questions in the prelims, which came directly from the quiz booklets that I read. I found them really useful. Third thing which I did was I made sure that I revised everything around 5 to 6 times. Earlier, I used to revise around like just one revision and I used to go for
Okay.
prelims, but that did not help. So, revision is the basic key for clearing this exam. Sticking to basic standard book list and revising it multiple times is the next part. Attempting more number of questions in the prelims is the next important things. If you are thinking that you will only attempt 55 questions or 60 questions and you will get through the prelims, I don't think that will help much because for that you will require a very high level of precision. I do not know about others, but my precision was not that accurate in prelims. So I ensured that I attempted around 85 to 90 questions this time.
Okay.
The next thing which I did was I revised all the past papers which came in the UPSC. In the beginning, for example, if we talk about the 5 months before the prelims, for the first 3 months you can do all the mock tests and everything. But when the prelims is approaching and it is about like 20 or 30 days far, you need to ensure that you solve the past year UPSC prelims paper because the approach of the official paper and the approach of the mock test is different. So please do not do mock tests, a number of mock tests, but please also do the past year UPSC papers. The next thing which you need to ensure is that you need to strengthen your elimination technique because when I saw the prelims paper, honestly, I knew only around 35 to 40 answers. 60 questions I had a very less idea about. So what helped me was the elimination technique. For example, a question came in the prelims paper in which they asked about the uh, difference between hepatitis C and hepatitis B, some question like that. And I had no idea about that because I did not read it anywhere. But I was able to get the correct answer through the elimination technique. When you strengthen your elimination technique, you will directly be able to see the tricks that they do in the paper. You will get a like an instinct that this is wrong and this is right. So these are some of the things that you need to ensure for prelims. And the most important thing which I will tell everyone is that please do not ignore CSAT part because nowadays the CSAT part is very difficult. Even some of my friends who gave prelims with me, they were scoring around 110 and 115 marks in the main paper, but when it came to CSAT, they missed by around like 0.5 and 1 mark. So if anyone is doubtful about their aptitude part, about the logical reasoning, quantitative aptitude part, please do not ignore it. Attempt multiple number of questions of CSAT and ensure that you get the qualifying marks.
Thank you, sir, for such an honest answer. Like you said, mocks are very important, right, in UPSC. So there was a question that how many number of mocks one should go for before prelims, and what should be the ideal score so that he gains the confidence.
So, and honestly, what I feel is that it does not matter whether you are attempting 30 mock tests or 60 mock tests. It doesn't matter. Suppose if you are attempting 60 mock tests and you are revising it only once, it does not matter much and it will not give you much outcome in the prelims paper. What you need to ensure is that uh, doesn't matter how much how many number of mock tests you do, please revise it around 4 to 5 times, because you will not be able to remember everything if you are doing like one revision for every paper. If you will ask me about the range of mock tests that one should do, I would say that it should be around more than 25, not less than 25. And above 25, it is up to you. It is up to you whether you do 30, 35 tests or 40 tests or 50 tests. But revision is the most important thing. If anyone is doing 80 tests also, please ensure that you revise it for 4 to 5 times. That is the only thing. And regarding the ideal score that you asked, please do not get discouraged by any score that you are scoring in the mock test, because it does not matter much, honestly. Because on the day of the prelims, if you have revised everything thoroughly and if you are confident, you will get much more marks than you were scoring in the mock test. For example, if I talk about myself, I used to score around I have scored 80 to 90 in the range of 80 to 90 multiple times. But that does not mean that you will not be able to clear the prelims. And honestly, if I tell you the first mock test that I gave when I started my preparation, this is for those who have just started with their preparation. The first mock test of my UPSC journey, which I gave in 2014, I scored 17.5, and I am not lying. Out of 200, I scored 17.5, and I just didn't know at that time how to tell anyone about that. So today I am selected, I am in the UPSC list, but my first mock test, I scored 17.5 marks. So anyone who is listening to me, if you are scoring 30, 40, 50, 60, anything, please do not get discouraged. There is always a scope of improvement, and you will never know. When you are honest with your preparation and you are committed enough, it will not take much time to jump from 60 to 120. You can definitely do it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next comes the most frequently asked and loaded question, that is how to cover current affairs effectively, and is it preferable to read Yojana and Kurukshetra for prelims too?
First, I would address the Yojana and Kurukshetra part. It is not necessary to read Yojana and Kurukshetra for prelims. I did not read it. And as far as the current affairs part is concerned, I would say that in the last 2 years, the current affairs section has become very complicated. Because earlier we used to read booklets of coaching institutes, and a lot of questions used to come from them, and we were able to do it very in a better way. But nowadays, what is happening is that you read all the 12 months current affair booklets, monthly current affair booklets of some institute, and there is not even a single question from those booklets. This has happened this in the 2020 prelims itself. A lot of my friends read all the 12 months monthly current booklets, and not even a single question were asked from them. So what I would suggest everyone that from the first day of your preparation, please keep a separate notebook for current affairs, and instead of going for monthly current affairs booklets, please do daily current affairs. Please refer to Insights. Insights website is very useful. They give a compilation of 5 to 6 important news every day, and if you note it down, if you make very brief notes of everything, of all the 5 and 6 important news every day, after 1 year you will have around 2 to 3 whole booklets for the current affairs part. I did the same. I did not refer to monthly. Earlier, when I failed four prelims, I used to do monthly current affair booklets, but the return on investment, I would say, was very low. But this time, uh, what I did was I joined the IAS Baba series. There is a section called Babapedia. They give you around 4 to 5 daily news, and I ensured that I read it. I started my day with that Babapedia. So at the end of like 1 year, I had three notebooks for current affairs, and there was the quality of that content was very good, and I did not need to read anything related to current affairs monthly magazines. So for current affairs, I did two things which were really helpful, I would say, to everyone. First were the Babapedia and its regular notes. So I had three booklets of current affairs, and the second was the quiz booklets by IAS Baba. I would say there are two platforms. You can choose any one of them. First is the IAS Baba daily current affairs known as Babapedia, and IAS Baba quiz booklets, monthly quiz booklets. Second platform is the Insights. They also give the daily current affairs, 5 to 6 news every day, and it is open for everyone. For Babapedia, you have to subscribe,
Okay.
but Insights is a very good platform. It is free for everyone. The current affairs daily part is free for everyone, and even the quiz booklets are free for everyone. So I would say to everyone that you can choose either one of them. Insights is very good. You can go for that.
Thank you, sir. Sir, a query from our audience that is it preferable to read India Yearbook and ARC reports for prelims? Please guide us regarding this.
Okay. So for prelims, no need for reading ARC report and India Yearbook. For mains, do not read India Yearbook, but yes, do read the ARC reports, not in detail, but their conclusion part. For example, if you are studying for mains and you are studying about the governance part, there are a lot of suggestions in ARC which are related to the governance part. So you just need to know the brief conclusion which that report gave. And in the mains, when you are writing an answer, you just need to refer to that in such and such ARC report, this was the conclusion. You just need 1 or 2 lines or that. So for that, you do not need to read the whole ARC report because it is very hectic to read that. Please just Google conclusions or just summary of ARC reports. You will get that in Google and just read that. And India Yearbook, please do not read. It is not much useful.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we have also got a question that as 5 months are left, so how much time should we give to answer writing and optional strategy as a whole? Because, like generally, there are 4 months when aspirants tend to start preparing prelims. So what should be the ideal strategy?
So divide your 5 months into two parts, 3 plus 2. For the first 3 months, continue with your answer writing and continue with your optional part. But in the last 2 months, you can leave the optional part and the answer writing practice. You can keep them on hold for some time, for 2 months, because in the last 2 months, you need to be very focused on the prelims part. Just revise everything that you have read throughout the year. You can keep on hold the optional and the answer writing part for the last 2 months. For the first 3 months, it's fine.
Okay, so here I want to mention that we'll having a session with you again for mains and optional separately. So
Okay.
guys,
Okay.
yeah. So those who are asking us questions, please wait for the session. So next one, sir, as I was reading about you, I came to know that you had a 2G network, and it becomes difficult at times to study. Like there are no proper speeds, downloading books or everything. Likewise, you might have had some other difficulties too. So how did you handle them? Because generally aspirants tend to give up when they don't find solutions.
So yes, you have rightly pointed out this, but I used to live in. I was doing my degree from JNU, so for most of the
Oh,
time I was in New Delhi.
okay.
But you are right that I had spent some time here in Jammu as well, and there was 2G, and I had faced some difficulties for the time being. So I would suggest everyone that okay, 2G obviously was an issue. The downloading speed is
Yeah.
very low. Sometimes the PDF even won't open. But I would suggest everyone that any type of problem that is coming in your way, be it the internet issue or the anything else like the financial issues or the emotional
Mm.
stress part, anything which is coming in your way, don't see it as some kind of problems for you, because you see problems I believe are like opportunities in disguise. So if there are some problems, there is an opportunity to learn something also, because
Yeah.
obviously when you handle a problem well, that will make you a more confident and more a better person than before, and that is everything you need for the last step of this UPSC examination, which is the personality test. If you are able to handle everything well at the last stage of your personality test, you will be far better than others who did not handle those problems well.
Thank you for such a beautiful answer, sir. The next one, please share with us the strategy you used for map work.
Okay. So many people suggest that you need to use an Atlas booklet, Atlas and like Oxford Atlas for map work, but I did not use that. I kept, first of all, I would kept a separate copy of maps, and I combined it with current affairs and the geography part.
Okay.
When I used to read NCRTs, see, NCRTs, when I say is the foundation, it is definitely true. But if you think that by reading only the NCRTs, you will be able to handle everything, that's also not true. You need to revise NCRTs multiple times, 100%. But you need to ensure that what I told everyone before, that you need to Google search a lot. So for map
Yeah.
work, I kept a separate copy and I did a lot of Google search. For example, if I am reading about uh, the oceans, the Indian Ocean, if I'm reading about the Indian Ocean and the nearby areas, I would Google search everything about them and I would make maps of everything. So on every page there was a map, and at the end of like 1 year, I had many quality maps on that booklet. I revised only that. For example, if you are reading about something about like the West Asian side or the Gulf areas, you are reading about the oil import. Just do not read about the oil import and the economics related part, because in everything there is a geography related part. So you need to Google that part. If you are reading about oil import and oil import bill of the government of India, you need to ensure that you also need to read about the route through which oil is coming. And when you Google search that route, you will know a lot of things, a lot of countries that are not, that are on the boundaries of that route and everything. So if you do this every day, see, it's a very long journey. So if you do this every day,
Yeah.
at the end of 1 year, you will realize that you have learned almost a lot of things.
Okay, sir. Thank you. The next one, sir, please share with us your interview experience, as in what happens inside.
So my interview was on the very first day, and it was in the morning session.
Okay.
So first, I would say that the real interview experience is very different from what is in the mock interviews, because in the mock interviews they put a lot of pressure on you. If you say something, they will like ask you a different question, try to confuse you. But in the real interview, they will not. But in the real interview, they will not do that. The board is very cordial. They just ask you a simple question, and you just need to give your views. If they are happy with your views, they will give you the marks. If they are not, they will deduct your marks. But they are not much interested in like arguing with you.
Yeah.
So my interview was around 30 minutes. And as you have told everyone that I am from JNU and I am from Jammu and Kashmir. So I was expecting a lot of questions from the JNU, because JNU at that time was very popular
A part of,
in the
yeah.
news. Yes. So I was expecting a lot of questions from JNU itself. And at the same time, I was expecting a lot of questions from Article 370 and Article 35A, which was related to the dilution of the special status. So, but I was very surprised because they did not ask any single question was not asked from these areas. I thought that out of 30 minutes, around 20 minutes would be given to such areas, but not even a single question was asked from JNU or like T70 or 35A. What they focused on was my DAF part, detailed application form. So I have done my master's in sociology. So they asked me a lot of questions about the social issues and about the society part. And at the same time, I was asked a few questions about Jammu and Kashmir also. For example, the increasing radicalization issue in J&K. So what I want to point out one thing here. They do want to test you, like your viewpoint, but they do it a very implicit way. For example, I was asked a question where I felt that if they were trying to trick me. They asked me that after, as you have been a student of sociology, you know the social issues very well. So even after so many years of independence, why is it that we have failed as a country to handle such problems? So they use the word failed. So I would tell everyone that when you reach interview, you need to like keep a note of these words, negative words. Whenever they use such words, they want you to correct it. So when they asked me how have India failed as a state, as a state, so I told them that, sir, I do not think this as a failure of our country, because we have been doing quite well in all these areas, and obviously the population of this country and the diversity that our country has, it is a lot, and where the problems in our social structure are bound to happen, but we as a country, I think we are doing really well, and our administration and everything is doing really well. I do not think that we have failed as a state to handle these issues, and in the time being, I think that we will be able to like be very prosperous and do a lot of progress in the near future. So that is something you need to handle quite well. They will never ask you something very directly. They will always try to trick you into certain things, but you need to be very balanced in your approach. So yes, these were
Thank
some
you,
of the
sir.
questions. And yeah, one more thing. Uh,
Yeah.
they also keep a lot of focus on your hobbies part and the awards that you have got in your like academic side and everything. So like I got certain awards related to the academic part. Like I had presented 2 3 papers and I got a certain award from them. So the board asked few questions from that areas also. So I would suggest everyone that if you are reaching the interview stage, please read your DAF in detail and prepare on that.
Thank you, sir, for such an honest answer. Next, sir, can you please tell the audience even that how our page guide IS helped you during your preparation?
So I have been a continuous follower of your platform, and it you have helped me a lot. Like not only through the like directly, but by the psychological part, the psychological side also, because right now I'm doing a live session on you with you, and I have watched very a lot of live sessions on your platform a few months back, and here's like 1 year back. So I've been continuously following your platform, and that has motivated me a lot. And I've also been very impressed by your quotes that you sometime post. Like whenever I was feeling low, 1 or 2 times I viewed the quote on your platform like motivational quote, and that gave me some boost. So thank you. I want to thank you, Guide IAS, for everything that they are doing, and you are doing really well for everyone. And the best thing that I like about Guide IAS is are these sessions that you do with everyone, because we are selected in UPSC civil services, but honestly, even we have some doubts even after getting selected.
Yeah.
So whatever I'm telling everyone, this might not be 100% true for any other student. But when different officers, when different people who have cleared this exam, every week you are interacting with them, so there are a lot of viewpoints related to this preparation. And I think if anyone is watching all these all these live sessions, that will be really helpful for them. So thank you again.
So it's a pleasure. And thank you so much for such honest, genuine, and kind words. We are grateful. So, with this, we are done with the questions. But before we bid adieu, let me tell you something about our organization, the programs we are running. So, we have a current affairs program that is 365 for 365, wherein we compile all the important news and facts from all the important websites and newspapers and provide at a bare minimum of rupee 1, that is rupees 365 for an year, 65% of which is donated to the needy students. We also have a Telegram group, serving officers being part of it, sharing their encyclopedic knowledge with us totally free of cost. We're also running some of the courses totally free at our YouTube channel. So, guys, you can please subscribe and DM us for further queries. So, yeah, we believe in serving and uplifting people. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, the last one, any parting message you would like
Yeah.
to give our audience?
Yes. I would like to say just one thing, that please do not just be an information gatherer, because
Yeah.
by gathering information you can cross prelims and mains, but the personality test you cannot pass without being a better person than you were before. So please, from the first day of your journey, be the type of person you want the board to see you as. So please, every day try to be a better person, and be very honest in your preparation. And if you are coming to prepare this for this exam, please be very honest about the reason as to why you are preparing for this exam. The why part is very important. And one last thing, the problems are bound to come, and you will have
Yeah.
a lot of emotional stress also. You cannot ignore that, and please handle everything very dedicatedly, and do not get bogged down by anything, because you can overcome anything in this journey. Just be patient and keep on doing hard work plus smart. That's it.
Thank you, sir. So with this, thanks a million, sir, for sharing your knowledge, pitching ideas, and personal experiences with us. We are grateful to you. Also, thank you to our audience for joining with us. Thank you, sir. Wishing you all the very best for the journey ahead.
Thank you so much.
Okay, sir. Have a nice day.
You too.